If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Now go download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And now back to Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. You're listening to a new episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host, me, Aeon. So sit back, relax, and listen as I unpack the uncertainty of my 30s, one episode at a time. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Girl Down Podcast with your host Aeon. And today we are going to do a informal episode review of the Just Lauryn reality show. And for this episode, I will be joined by my close and personal girlfriend. I'm gonna have her introduce herself because I don't know what name she wants to use, if she wants to use her name or she wants to keep it anonymous, which she's entitled to. Sis, tell the people who you are.
Hey everyone, my name is Paige.
Oh. We're using our real names today. Okay, I live. I thought we were going to use an anonymous name, but no, I live. So we're going to welcome Paige to the Girl Down Podcast, and we're going to talk about the Just Lauryn reality show, which I think premiered about 2 weeks ago. So for those of you all who don't know, Lauryn is a cast member on the Chasing reality show, Chasing Atlanta, which has been on for about 4 seasons. They're currently in production for their 5th season, and Lauryn is one of the OG castmates. My sis and I, we love the Chasing reality brand, but we are avid watchers of Chasing Atlanta, Chasing Dallas, and all of the other shows. So throughout watching the Chasing reality and Lauryn's depiction on there, Lauryn definitely got like the bitchy edit, the I'm better than everybody and I am above everybody. So when I found out that she was getting her own reality show, I was like, well, this will be interesting, because even through all of the drama, I still didn't feel like I got a good sense of who Lauryn was as a person. And it's very obvious that Lauryn started her transition process on the show, most evident in season 3. But this spinoff reality show is supposed to give the audience a deeper insight into her family dynamic, her friendship dynamic, and just her as she is embarking on this journey of transitioning before the public's eyes. So, sis, what were your thoughts on the show when everybody found out that the Just Lauryn show was happening?
I was excited to get to see her in a new light, because like you said, she's always painted as like I'm better than everyone else, and kind of like very pompous. But like you said, we didn't get to really see her even through all the shade and the drama and everything else. And I knew that, just being a fan of the show, I knew sooner or later that she was going to transition, because us being girls, we can just tell when it's
right.
When someone is eager to transition. So when I did hear of her or seeing it on the show that she was going to transition, I was excited for her because I knew that would probably that was the undertone of all her shade.
Yeah, so we knew that Mama was going to transition, but I believe that the series puts into perspective why her attitude was the way it was, or why it might have even taken her so long to come to that point where she was going to transition. But now this is the point of the conversation where we're going to get into the first 2 episodes of the show. Just we're not going to give like a scene by scene breakdown of what happened. We really encourage you all who are listening to this to go watch the show, go support Lauryn, go support the Chasing Reality brand. Also, go support Andario. I have to give a big shout out to Andario for deciding to do this, because I think this is going to be very impactful for Black trans folks, for people that are outside of the Black trans experience who aren't aware just of the intimate process of what it's like to transition and how that impacts all of the relationships in your life. So I'm gonna be honest. When the show first came out, I was going to watch the show, but I got through the first 10 minutes and I gave oh no, like I need to process this, because within the first 10 minutes of the first episode is literally Lauryn moving from Atlanta back to Birmingham, Alabama, where she's from. And the first person that she meets is her dad. And like, I don't know, as a trans person watching the show, it's just triggering, because knowing that Lauryn is going to have to go through conversations where she's going to be misgendered, she's going to be dead named, where she's going to have to explain to people why they should have to call her Lauryn or why they should have to call her she, and just seeing people like come up with all the reasons in the world why they shouldn't have to do that. It was very triggering for me, because as somebody that's trans and somebody that has had to have those conversations with myself, like, it's hard. It's hard to go through it, and it's hard to watch another trans woman go through those particular type of experiences. Since you watched both of the episodes before me, what are your thoughts on the show so far? What are the favorite? What are the things that you liked about the series so far, and what are some of the things that made you be like, now, bitch?
What I like about it is that the fact that she even can go back home, because a lot of girls can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean when I say that, because in this community, we fight to be who we are and fight for our identity and us being trans women. And a lot of times that means you lose a lot of, relationships. They could be with your parents, your siblings, close relatives, girlfriends, or what have you. And I admire the relationship between her and her dad, because it's like her and her dad are very close. And being as though I've been watching the season from Chasing Atlanta to now, it's like he understands. Now it's gonna take him some time for him to really get adjusted to it.
Well, girl, from the looks of things, he don't look like he got that much time left, sis. And I'm just keeping it real.
Well, that is true. But yeah, they have a very close relationship. So it's like, he's still holding on to that, you're my son. And it's like, no, it's really not giving that anymore. Mama's walking around with body and everything else. So, I think that's pretty much out the window, that whole still holding on to what he considers his son. What I like about it is that, oh yeah, her going back home, she's linking up with her old girlfriends, and you see like a more fun side to her.
Right.
I feel like with her at home friends, they are her core girlfriends. We all have that.
Right.
And I think, like she was saying in Atlanta, it was just, people trying to like take advantage of her and everybody just trying to put on and they not really being a friend to her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do think.
No, go ahead.
Oh, another thing with Lauryn, she gives me, she's easily influenced by friends, and I think that she befriends people too easily. That's something she's gonna have to learn as she goes through her womanhood.
And she said she just is in the beginning stages of taking hormones.
Yeah.
So she has a long way to go to kind of affirm the type of woman that she's going to be, not just the surgeries and just the physical appearance, but like your mental boundaries, like how are you going to be in relationship with people, how are people going to respect you,
and how you gonna move.
Right. And you don't, when you first on Moans, bitch, I call it like the Disney princess effect, where everything is rosy and you everything is love, peace, and harmony, and you're just open to people and you see the world through rose-colored glasses. And it takes a couple of situations for you to be like, oh, okay, girl, this is not really what it's supposed to be. Like, yes, I'm a woman, yes, I'm in love, but I'm a person of love and all of that stuff. But we have to have boundaries. People have to respect us and meet us where we are at and not the other way around. So
right.
Yeah, I definitely commend her for showing the early part of her transition, because most girls wouldn't do that. What do you think it is about parents? Because I definitely can relate to your parent saying that you are physically changing before their eyes, and their just refusal to just accept what it is. Like, what do you think that's about?
Right. I think a lot has to do with, like, they blame themselves in a sense. Like, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? And in all honesty, it don't have nothing to do with them. But they don't see it like that. They really don't. I can recall a time where, just when my dad was still living, and I had went over his house for Sunday dinner, and his wife's grandmother was over there. And when I had came down the steps, she was like, "Oh, who is that girl? She's pretty." And I could see the look on his face. He was like gagging. And our relationship was very, very weird, but it was starting to change towards the end, like right before he passed or whatever. I could tell that he was just like, oh, wow. It was just a look on his face. And he just hurried up and was like, that's my son.
Child, this episode for the trans people watching, I know it's hard because it's like us reliving those moments. So
yeah.
But I do like the relationship. Go ahead.
I do. Before you say that, I really do like the relationship between Lauryn and her dad, because her daddy is always there. He gives very much. When she calls, he come running. Right. That's what I gather from it. He gives. I gotta call my daddy. Like most girls do. That's the first person you think to call when something goes wrong.
Right.
Or if you need something fixed, or if your car is, going crazy, like, dang, what's going on?
No, I do like that part aspect of the relationship with her father, and I just think it shows how relationships, particularly with your parents, can be complex. And but the beauty of being trans is you kind of have to force your parents' hand and force them out of their comfort zones, because it's very obvious that he loves her, but he's still trying to wrap his head around how he's going to love how he can still love the child that he had, but still create space to accept her as this woman. But really, from the outside looking in, he's always shown up for her like a girl, at least from the times that he's appeared on the show. Like, because men don't show up for their sons the way that he's shown up for her, even before her transition. So it's just kind of obvious how, like, ironic how the writing has always been on the wall, at least from how their relationship has been portrayed on the Chasing Reality series. But you are still holding fast to like, this is my son. So right. I don't. It's hard to watch, but I'm glad that this is being shown because I don't feel like anything like this has been shown in reference to like the Black trans experience. So I'm happy that people are getting to see this. I also want to say I love the relationship between her and her core group of girlfriends. I also live for the fact that she's also transitioning with another homegirl, and they're kind of close in their transition, so at least she doesn't have to go through this by herself. And I think her home Barbie is a little bit ahead of her, so Barbie is kind of there to just be that support and just tell her that everything's going to be okay. And I love the relationship with her Butch Queen friends. So I just love that we had that dynamic is there to kind of balance out like the difficult parts of the episode. So what finally got me to circle back to this episode, because you kept reading me because I hadn't finished the first and the second episode yet. What finally got me back is I happened to be on Instagram for one day, and I followed the Gay E magazine Instagram page, and they had a clip from the second episode of the show where Treasure P, the girl who was famously beat up twice on season 5 of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta for being some tea, was telling Lauryn that the reason that she doesn't invite Lauryn to the straight clubs with her is because she could be beat up once they really find out that she's a man. So then I was like, okay, now I need to go back, watch episode 1, watch episode 2, and really find out what's going on. So, sis, what was your reaction to that scene with Treasure, or just the dynamic? How did that make you think about the dynamic and friendships that you have with cis women, like before you transition and after you transition, and how they try to call themselves allies, but kind of throw your transition in your face when you try to make a point to them? What was your reaction to that scene with Treasure P?
My reaction is I was disgusted, because I'm saying that it really is, it hit home for me, because it's like, why would you say that to your friend? Now, Lauryn is supposed to be this girl's good girlfriend. Why would you even say something like that in that manner to your friend? And I can see if you were concerned about her safety. I get all that. But it's the way you say stuff. My mama always said it ain't what you say is how you say it. So her saying, oh, I don't want you to get beat the F up, and once they find out you're T. And she didn't even say T. She said, once they find out that you're a man. And then she misgendered Lauryn in the conversation. And it took me to a place. Like, I was disgusted, because how are you calling this girl your friend and you really showing like the hate that you have for the community? That's what I took from it. You don't see her as a woman. That's honestly what I took from it. Like, you don't see her as a woman. And I have a few relationships with cis women, and I always feed them with a long handled spoon, except for one in particular. We've been best friends for years, and we've never had that kind of altercation, or she's never misgendered me like that, and never would, as we've been friends for over 10 years. And it's, how do you call yourself this girl your friend and you really feel like that? And it's like, how do we bridge the gap between us and cis women? Like, you can't even call yourself an ally acting like that or even speaking to her like that. Yeah, I was disgusted.
Yeah,
And
again. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
More so than anything, us girls do know this. When you decide to transition, your relationship with cis women changed dramatically. Because some of them just don't see you past what you once were. So when you're in an atmosphere where men are involved and they feel as though you getting all the life and the boys is living for you, they going up for you, they want to buy you drinks and mama, you need anything and this is that and the third. Oh honey, that throws them in the trash. That's how they feel. Because let's be clear, you know, cis women feel like black men and black straight men in particular only belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
And when we step on the scene and they, you know, get a glimpse of who we are, even if they don't know T, they go up for you. Let's just say they don't know T. They going up for you because of something about you. You know, we give off that vibe. It's just something about us. It's a sparkle. And they can't put their finger on it. Like, what is it about this girl? And they don't like that. You gotta watch them girls. So all my trans sisters, young up and coming, just be mindful of the girlfriends you keep. Because those be the ones, honey, will pump your tea to somebody. The whole club will know your tea if y'all decide to go out one night. And that could easily get you beat up or worse, killed. And then you be the next hashtag just because Miss Fane couldn't keep her mouth shut.
Yeah, when I saw that scene, I was Treasure P. Even with her antics, I enjoy her. I thought she was a key. I've seen her on Chasing Atlanta before, particularly when Lauryn was opening her salon and she did Treasure's hair, and I thought they was cool girlfriends, but it didn't surprise me that Treasure reacted that way to Lauryn when Lauryn had a valid criticism of her. And again, I'm happy that this is being shown on the show because these are the things that are kind of swept under the rug that nobody likes to talk about, but things that happen, just how when you transition, it's going to be a lot of cis women that can't take you, that are just not going to see you as a woman, that are not going to want you in their spaces. And the thing that kind of tripped me out is the fact that, oh, these niggas are going to beat you up. But not once did she say, oh, bitch, we about to tear it. Like, if that happens, like, we about to tear it. Or even the fact, why do you want to be in spaces with niggas that can be that violent? Because the thing is, if they can be violent like that to me, sis, they're going to be violent like that with you. So,
right.
but the cis women live for being around Rachel Tree, whatever. But it's just the fact that also, like, you're just beginning to be a woman. We're women, and we've already dealt with this. And it's just like, nobody should have to be dealing with anything. And it doesn't matter about you just being a woman or you having your period. Like, I'm having a valid critique of you as a friend, and you're trying to throw my transness in my face to kind of invalidate what I'm saying. So
that's what they give.
Right. But it's just, I'm glad that this is being put on Front Street. I enjoyed the comments that I saw under that post that was given, like, well, this is what this woman give, and this is and you're right, like, you have to deal with cis women, particularly black cis women, with a long handled spoon until they prove themselves to be otherwise.
Yeah, for your own sanity,
right, and your own safety, because
you know they don't. Right. They don't see nothing wrong with what they doing. They just think that, oh, okay, I'm being a friend. No, you're not. You're not being a friend. And like you said, not once did she say, oh, we will be tearing it down together. No, they will beat you the F up. You will really say that to your friend?
And you gonna really say
that to your friend? You gonna, yes, she gonna stand there and key. I was just like, oh, okay. That's not your friend, Lauren. That's what I was thinking in my head the whole time. Like, girl, that is not your friend. Y'all
She was
may
just
have a
somebody
good
that
kiki
used your
together.
services.
Mm-hmm. Y'all key together. Y'all had some fun together, but that's not her friend. Cause no, your friend wouldn't say that. If that was
Right.
really her friend, she would say, and if something like that happened, we would be paying it together in there. Cause I'm not going for it. Cause you my girl, you know.
Right.
You, and that rubbed me totally the wrong way. Miss
Ooh,
Dress is
so
late.
so we could talk about her relationship with Devin. I don't know. To me, it don't seem that important enough to talk about.
No. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like they girlfriends and they just had their little falling outs, and that's just it.
Right. So
Hmm.
I guess what are some predictions? Because I don't know how many episodes are going to be in a series, but what are your predictions for how you think some of this is going to go? How you think it's going to end? Like, just what are your some predictions towards the end?
I predict that her parents will come around eventually. Um, I just feel like they don't have a choice. That's just my opinion when it comes to us and our relationships with parents. Like, girl, you see it or you don't, and that's just it. I think her relationship with her friends is going to grow stronger, and for some reason, I just see her more happier with her friends from back home. Like,
Mm-hmm.
laughing, being silly. Because, some of your core girlfriends bring that side out of you. You know how me and you can just laugh and just have a good time. That's just
Mm-hmm.
what we do.
Right.
I'm happy to see Lauren in this light. It's like it almost makes
She's
her look
definitely
more
way
so.
more likable in this series than she's ever
Yeah,
been in
she
Chasing
is.
Atlanta.
She really is. She really is. And she looked good. She looks good. Mama has, she's doing her thing, and it's when everything comes full circle with her look and just her mind as a woman, they're not gonna be able to do nothing with her.
Right.
Because
No, but
your transition is physical. You're out of count. When that mental is all the way together, and you know the woman who you are and what you gonna stand for and what you not, that's what pull it all together.
no, I totally agree, and I look forward to the trajectory of the show. I ain't going to lie, my anxiety is probably going to be high, especially with this conversation with her mama and whoever that lady
Oh,
was. I
now
guess her auntie.
we didn't talk about that
Well, the episode
the
hasn't come out
relationship,
yet. Yeah, the episode hasn't come
right?
out yet,
But
but
for some reason, I really do think that her relationship with her mom is some tea. I They haven't really showed her mom yet, except for that one clip, and that thing we was talking about. That's that's her friend's mom.
mm,
That's her friend's mother, I believe. And their moms have been friends for years. Because her and that girl they've known each other since they were little kids.
okay,
So essentially, like they grew up together. In black community, when you know each other for a long time, it's given. That's my auntie.
right.
I want to see how this conversation is going to go. I don't like how they made that girl cry at that table like that. That's not right.
Yeah, I
I would
wouldn't
have
be
just.
surprised if the mother doesn't see Lauren because of the relationship that Lauren has with her father.
I think that's what it is.
Cause no shade,
I really
I have
do.
seen plenty of people in real, like my sis girlfriends that go through that same thing where the mother has resentment because of the relationship that the father has with the daughters or the children.
Mm-hmm.
And like for as long as Lauren has been on Chasing Atlanta, there's no shade. I thought her mother was like passed or something, or like she was in
Me
jail,
too.
or because she just never talked about her mom.
She never spoke about her mom, but she did say in the last episode that her mom were close when she was little, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I want to see how this plays out. I think overall it's so far I really like how it's going. I like the dynamic. I think it's going to be a good season. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but it's really good to see like the conversations that she is having with her friends and her family. It's definitely good to see.
Well, I think we've come to the end of another episode of the Girl Down podcast. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to encourage you all to go to YouTube, to go to the Chasing Reality page and make sure that you, if you haven't already, that you start watching Just Lauryn, the Just Lauryn show, and all of the other shows produced by Chasing Reality. I want to thank my sister for coming on down and helping me out to review this episode. Who knows, you may see her make a guest appearance from time to time on more episodes. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. If you like the show, please be sure to go on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast. Also, make sure that you're engaging with me on social media. Also, if you have any inquiries or you want to send me any questions, be sure to email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye y'all.